with the sponge dough method.
For 3 generations, the Cordes family, who also trace their roots back to Greece, has risen to the occasion selling specialty breads.
Metropolitan Baking Company was founded by my grandfather in 1945.
In the beginning, Metropolitan only sold simple loaves. Today, they produce dozens of items for grocery stores, high-end restaurants, and of course, Coney diners. And while their products have changed over the years, a few names have truly stood the test of time.
He was George James Cordes, namesake, and my father is James George Cordes, and I'm George James Cordes. My father, just like me, was bred in the business.
George credits his father for the company's massive expansion in the mid-'80s.
This summer, we're going to be producing millions of Coney Island steamer hot dog buns.
This abundance, pun intended, is all thanks to automation.
Automation is really what transformed this company. We went from packaging maybe 10, 15 loaves of bread a minute to 140 loaves a minute.
In 2001, after years of recipe testing, the signature steamer bun was added to the product line.
It is a hot dog bun that we've formulated to be used at the Coney Island restaurants, in Metro Detroit specifically. This bun that we produce is in roughly 95% of all Coney Island restaurants.
And it takes a lot of dough to make all those buns.
So what we're doing right now, this is where it all begins. This is the mixing room, and we're about to create a 1,600-pound dough batch of hot dog buns. Major ingredients are going to be flour is 65%, then you've got your yeast, you've got your sugar, you've got your oil, and a bunch of proprietary ingredients. Any minute. That's roughly 1,200 packages of Coney Island steamer hot dog buns. There you go. You did it.
That makes over 14,000 buns. After mixing, the dough gets cut into bun-sized portions.
You're looking at 3-foot sheets that were just guillotined, and now they're going into a smaller divider to be put into roughly 1.25-ounce dough balls.
Next up, time to proof.
After 60 minutes, the dough has risen. And after about 10 minutes bake time, we're gonna have a fully baked hot dog bun that's prepared to cool.
The buns are almost ready.
The product's sliced, after the cooling conveyor, and then it's paddled on top of each other to create a 12-pack, a dozen buns. The baskets are headed down to logistics and ready to be set up for routes.
Then it's off to stores in Michigan's finest Coney restaurants, including American Coney Island. While the factory may have a lot of machinery, George has always been hands-on.
So I worked here every summer throughout high school and throughout college, almost every position. And you really learn what hard work is as a kid to work in a bread factory, when it's 110 degrees out.
When Grandpa George started the company, he had fewer than 10 employees. Today, they've got almost 100.
When they say employees, family employees, that's what John is. He's literally family.
John Grabowski has worked with all 3 generations of the Cordes family. At 12 years old, he took a summer job washing buckets at Metropolitan. Today, he's the plant's lead engineer.
It's like family. When you come to this business, everybody that's here, they feel like family to me. Everybody says hello to each other. It's a good camaraderie. Everybody likes each other.
It's more than just bread and butter for the employees.
It's really nice being run by a family-owned business. You can come to work and feel like you're at home.
It's like a second family to me. We all work together. We get down in the dirt. We exchange all kinds of work habits, and we learn from each other, and we do the best we can.
The longtime employees are proud, keeping Detroit's Coney tradition going strong.
We all grew up eating Coneys, right? Comerica Park, baseball games as a kid with mom and dad and the grandparents, family time. Coney dogs that's a part of pretty much everybody's childhood. It's a joy to be a part of that heritage.
Today, Metropolitan's running 6 days a week, 20 hours a day.
The amount of product that we're sending out each day, from the first dough that's kicking out around 1:30 in the morning till the final package at 10 at night, I feel constant pride.
As for the future, George's kids seem to have inherited his love for the bakery.
My daughters, Cecile and Sloan, I bring them almost every Saturday. They actually tell me that they enjoy it more than Disney World. This is their favorite place on earth, just like what it was for me as a kid that age.
It's that joy and a family legacy that George hopes will carry on for many years to come.
I absolutely love what we're doing here. I love our history. I never want to be that third generation cliche. You know, I want to continue the growth with my kids, or my kids' kids, have them look back, family members, and say, wow, that's incredible. Look at what you've done.
Chili, mustard, onion.
What happens if you reverse it?
Oh, you're out.
You're out.
You're out.
You're out.
Minutes from downtown is Detroit's Brush Park neighborhood. Folks here are flocking to enjoy the good vibes at this cool Coney spot. CMO may be relatively new to the game, but loyal fans can't get enough of their chili, mustard, and onions. CMO, get it? But unlike most diners in town, here, the Coney, the sauce, and everything else on the menu is powered by plants.
My name is Pete Lacombe. I'm the owner of Chili Mustard Onions in Detroit, Michigan.
You could say opening a vegan Coney spot in the Coney capital takes guts and grit, and that's exactly what this family's made of.
I don't follow any rules. I follow the important ones, but I don't do what everybody else does.
Pete and his wife Shelley, along with their daughter Darla, launching CMO in 2018. It's the first and only all-vegan Coney spot in Detroit.
I would say my wife gave me the biggest kick in the butt to go vegan, and we did.
I had a vision that we were going to open a vegan Coney Island, and I told Pete that, and he told me I was out of my mind.
Pete and Shelley have enjoyed many a traditional Coney as lifelong Detroit residents.
When Shelley and I got married, she used to tell me all the time that I was going to open a restaurant, and it was going to be a vegan restaurant. And I said, yeah, I'm not vegan. So I asked her why she thought I was going to open a vegan restaurant. She said, you could never hurt an animal or sell animals. And I went, you're so right.
Now, the family's been vegan for over 10 years.
It not only saved my life going vegan and saved my life by doing something I love, I got to do something I love every single day with the people I love.
Before entering the restaurant business, Pete worked in the auto industry, just like his dad and his granddad.
When I was in automotive design, I ate horribly. I smoked cigarettes, I drank a lot. It was just kind of the norm in that field. That was really in my blood, but it wasn't in my soul. Cooking was in my soul.
Pete's true passion coming from spending time with family in the kitchen.
So we lived really close to my grandparents, and what was in my soul was food. I cooked with my grandmas all the time. My grandma, my mom's mom, really should have opened a restaurant, and I feel like I'm living that dream through her.
That dream now possible with the next generation.
So Darla's our manager, and she takes care of the customers so well. And seeing the woman that she has become, we're so proud of her.
My wife and I, we've been through so much. We're partners in crime, partners in life, partners in love.
And partners in creating a home away from home for every customer.
I created CMO, the interior, to reflect like my basement or my living room, where you could come over and eat at my house. Everybody's welcome in my home.
Every day, somebody wants to go tell him how fabulous this place is and how blown away they are with his food.
Since it first opened, CMO has been delighting vegans and non-vegans alike with their take on hot dogs smothered in chili.
The amount of love and emotion that is put into the food in every bite, you can tell that.
I've never had vegan food, but it was really, really good. This just tasted so similar to it would as a regular Coney Island.
You know, it's hard to come by something that's like so close to like a childhood favorite.
Of course, I had to see if this Coney truly lived up to the hype.
Hey, Al. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to my kitchen.
Well, this is really cool. We've heard all about this. When you're used to something that is meat,
Yeah.
you know, getting them to try something that doesn't quite fit what they think it's supposed to be.
For me, I let my food speak. If I put something out there on a plate that is incredible, happens to be vegan, that changes minds and hearts, and you know, it's incredible.
I see your wife and your daughter standing out there. Are they taste testers?
Oh, my wife for sure, yes.
That's love.
It is, oh, it's love. And we'll be married 30 years this year.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Let's make some vegan magic.
Let's do that.
The hot dog, what kind of protein is this?
It's a pea and soy protein.
And this is your chili.
Yes.
Now, what's the protein in here for
This
chili?
is a Beyond Crumble, a plain Beyond Crumble.
A lot of Coney places are hush-hush about their chili, but Pete was willing to dish a little.
How do you make your chili?
I use a blend of spices, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and a few other things that are top secret. We're gonna throw that in our water.
Okay.
That's the hero right there.
Right there.
The spice is the hero.
The chili's brought to a boil, then thickened with potato starch. It was time to try my first vegan Coney.
That's a healthy ladle.
It is. I usually do a little more than that.
Wow.
Yeah. Do a lot of onions. Here they are.
Let's give that a shot. That's really good. Especially the chili.
Thank you.
How long did you have to work on the chili recipe?
You know, I hit it right on the head when we first went vegan, and then I didn't write it down. So then it took me about a year after that to really nail it down.
But even with a winning recipe, times have been tough for CMO.
What was the pandemic like for you guys?
It hit us extremely hard, and we're still struggling and fighting, and you know, there's no quit in us, but it's been tough. Yeah.
How's the future look for you?
I really don't know. We're trying. We're working every day, but I don't know what the future holds. I really don't.
If it's based on the taste of that, your future's bright, my friend.
Thank you so much.
That is good.
Thanks so much.
Wow.
The history behind Detroit's Coney dog is truly an all-American tale, from the Greek immigrants who borrowed the name to a mashup of traditional flavors with a boardwalk staple. And now, there's a whole generation of locals who are ensuring that this regional hot dog is here to stay. New York City is home to so many iconic foods, but when the city that never sleeps wakes up for breakfast, they want a bagel with a cream cheese schmear piled high with lox.
There's no other city that makes a bagel like a New York City bagel.
I have not had good bagels in any other city.
I came out the womb eating bagels.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. If New York's known for anything, it's its bagels. And we got them all. Everything bagels, rainbow bagels, pumpkin bagels, croissant bagels, and of course you can't have them without a schmear. While the bagel first came from Poland, many food historians say its pairing with salmon and cream cheese originated right here in the Big Apple. In this town, few specialty food shops are as beloved and as historic as Russ and Daughters.
I've been waiting in line probably 15-20 minutes, but it's definitely worth it.
I like the contrast of the flavor. It's like a nice little bagel with salty lox.
Something about the salmon and cream cheese together, like I try to make it at home, but it's nothing compared to Russ and Daughters.
They've been serving premium smoked fish to hungry New Yorkers and folks from around the world for over 100 years. Just a few blocks from the store is the Russ and Daughters Cafe.
Hi, Al.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to Russ and Daughters Cafe.
Nice to see you
Great to
guys.
have you here.
Thanks for having us. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Nikki Russ Fetterman and Josh Russ Tupper are the grandchildren of the original Daughters. These cousins are fourth-generation owners, carrying on their family's culinary legacy.
So this is Russ and Daughters. This is our great-grandfather, Joel Russ, who started the business, his wife, Bella, and his 3 daughters. Josh and I have the same grandmother, Anne. She was the youngest of the 3.
Was it unusual at that time for you, because usually you'd see so-and-so and sons, but to see Russ and Daughters?
Very unusual.
But, I mean, honestly, if he had had sons, it probably would have been Russ and Sons.
Well, thank goodness he did.
We like to think of him as a feminist, but he was a good businessman.
Joel Russ immigrated from Poland in 1907.
And he started just standing on the streets of the Lower East Side selling schmaltz herring out of a barrel. And a family could feed itself for 2 nights with 1 fish.
In 1914, he opened his first brick and mortar shop, J. Russ National Appetizing. Joel and his wife had 3 daughters, Hattie, Ida, and Ann. When they turned 11, each daughter began working with their dad. What was their relationship like with him? Because he's your dad, but he's also
your boss.
Your boss.
Yeah. And I think he cared more about being the boss and the shopkeeper. He was a new immigrant to this country who was just trying to survive and make a place for his family. And that was his focus. And he saw his children as you know, cheap labor.
The sisters grew up learning all aspects of the business. In 1935, Hattie, Ida, and Ann became Joel's partners. The shop was renamed Russ and Daughters, making it the first in America to bear "and Daughters" in its title. When your great-grandfather decided to start Russ and Daughters, why the Lower East Side?
After Ellis Island, this was the starting off point for the majority of poor Jewish immigrants. This is where they landed and they got their start. And so he was just feeding basic food to other poor immigrants like himself.
At the turn of the century, this neighborhood was one of the most densely populated places on the planet. Many immigrants from all around the world lived in overcrowded tenement buildings, the conditions having a profound impact on their diets.
One of the things about Lower East Side Jewish food is that a lot of food wasn't made at home. When you don't have running water or when you don't have electric or gas stoves, it's really hard to do very much cooking. And so for women who are responsible for feeding their families, they had to get food from push carts, from restaurants, from bakeries.
Joel Russ was one of many vendors catering to this new population. I've always been curious, how did it come about, or from what you've heard, that somebody thought, hey, you know, here's this round bread, we'll put some fish on it, but oh, by the way, before we do, let's put some cream cheese, some dairy on it.
Yeah. First of all, Russ and Daughters is the torchbearer of what's called appetizing. And this is a food tradition born here in New York, and it's the sister food tradition to delicatessen, both of which come up through the Jewish kosher dietary rules. You have to separate fish and dairy from meat. So a delicatessen, strictly speaking, is for meat. The appetizing store is where you go for fish and dairy, things like herring, smoked fish. When we say bagel and lox, most people are, we're referring to a smoked salmon, but the original bagel and lox was not with smoked salmon.
Technically, lox, or belly lox, is salmon cured in salt, which preserves fish without refrigeration. There's no smoking involved, and it's incredibly salty, so it pairs perfectly with tangy cream cheese. But who was the first person to put lox on a bagel?
So no one really knows how bagels, lox, and cream cheese all came together. We know that bagels come from Eastern Europe. We know that lox kind of comes basically from Nova Scotia, kind of. We know that cream cheese is an American food. But what we know is that these things come together as part of a compromise between different generations of American Jews.
Jewish law prohibits cooking with most heat sources on the Sabbath, so the combo of bagels and lox created a filling meal for observant Jews to enjoy on the day of rest.
It's good for a family, but you or your daughter-in-law didn't have to be spending the previous day cooking.
As one of the country's oldest appetizing stores, Russ and Daughters has been serving kosher meals for generations, and the weekends are still their busiest days.
I can't think really of anything that's more New York than lox and bagels.
I agree. I think that this is a food that came up through the Eastern European Jewish immigrants to New York. But now it's transformed and just become New York food. It belongs to all New Yorkers.
In the United States, women own less than 20% of all businesses. At the iconic Russ and Daughters, co-owner Nikki Russ Fetterman is building on the legacy of her grandmother and great aunts.
Growing up, you followed in the footsteps of strong women who may not have chosen this, but took it on and obviously made it really successful. What is it like for you following in those footsteps?
It's a tremendous feeling to be now the and great-granddaughter. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a good customer of ours. Her family came from the Lower East Side, and she once said that before she knew the word feminist, when she looked up at the sign, Russ and Daughters, she understood that women could have an impact.
Your family's business, Russ and Daughters, has survived 2 world wars, a depression. You're here in the shadow of the World Trade Center.
Yes.
Why has this place been able to not just survive, but thrive?
I think because in each generation there has been someone who wanted to do this. This is food that people turn to for comfort in hard times. And during the pandemic, we saw that people were shipping Russ and Daughters all over the country to their loved ones because they couldn't be together. And so sending, bagels and lox and babka, say, I love you, I miss you. Here, let me feed you.
Having a schmear over Zoom.
Oh, there was a lot of that.
Okay, so you can get smoked fish pretty much everywhere these days, but not quite like this. The salmon sold at Russ & Daughters is prized for its high fat content, from the milder Gaspé Nova to the smokier Scottish. And this gourmet fish is all sliced by hand.
When you hold it up, I mean, it's almost
Look at that.
translucent.
Yeah, I think we should show you how we get it that thin.
Yeah, me and a sharp utensil, what could possibly go wrong?
It takes up to 6 months of training to master the slicing technique here.
So Al, I hear you have some knife skills.
Well, I've been in a fight or two, but it's probably nothing like yours. So how long have you been slicing salmon?
I've been at the store for 20 years.
Wow.
So I've been slicing for a while.
All right, so I watch people slice, and I'm amazed at how patient, because it seems like that's part of the skill.
The reality is, when you know how to slice, it is one of the most relaxing things you can do.
Very zen.
Very zen.
Ooh.
Meditative, right? The trick is, don't look anywhere on the fish. You have to really feel the fish.
Be the fish.
Be the fish, which is a very difficult concept to train someone.
Understood.
And particularly the first couple slices are, don't be upset if they don't look great. The idea is to make a consistently thick slice. Are you making faces at me, Al?
No, I'm just watching you not watch the fish. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Be the fish. Not looking.
You should look.
I should
You
look.
got a sharp knife in your hand, Al. And you can see that as you change the angle of the knife, it changes the thickness.
Yeah.
Right?
So now that's
drastically,
a very,
more than you think.
That's more than, oh my gosh, that's a very thick
We call
slice.
those chuletas.
Chuletas?
Yeah. Chops.
Ah.
In Spanish.
I was going to say, that didn't sound Yiddish.
Not
It did
Yiddish.
not sound
Not
Yiddish to
Yiddish.
me.
No.
Does the way you cut it affect the taste of it or the texture of it?
The texture, which affects the experience of the salmon.
It's almost like you're eating the essence of salmon, not salmon.
It's very delicate. It's a very appealing texture and mouthfeel. Yeah, the thinner.
Josh, thanks so much. Nice meeting you.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Smoke them if you got them.
Up next, how fresh salmon gets turned into lox. I'm here at the Acme Smoked Fish Factory. Now there is something fishy going on in there, and you better believe I'm going to find out what it is. The folks at Acme process, smoke, and pack nearly 8 million pounds of fish every year. They sell to eateries all over the country, including Russ and Daughters.
It smells of smoke and it smells of fish.
That's the way it's supposed to be. It smells like New York City.
Yes.
All right, so as you know, in any food plant, food safety is of paramount importance.
Right.
I see you got your boots on
I
here.
just happen to be wearing these.
Awesome. I'll walk you through the process of how salmon turns into smoked salmon.
Adam Kaslow is the fourth-generation owner of Acme Smoked Fish. His great-grandfather, Harry Brownstein, started selling fish after immigrating from Russia to Brooklyn.
Harry started in the smoked fish business in the early 1900s, in 1906 to be exact.
Out of a push cart?
Out of a horse-drawn wagon.
Wow.
He would go around buying fish from different smokehouses throughout Brooklyn and Queens and had himself the sales route. You know, he worked close to 45 years. I mean, his dream was to open up his own smokehouse, and it took him 45 years to finally achieve that.
Wow.
Adam now runs a massive smoked fish empire, supplying many of New York City's popular bagel shops, from H&H to Essa Bagel. Acme also selling to national grocers like Trader Joe's.
At the end of the day, it's all about the fish. We bring in fish from all over the world. Smoked salmon is probably the most popular thing that we make, and our salmon come from different places: Norway, Scotland, Chile, and Alaska.
It can take up to 5 days to make smoked salmon. Every order is made to the buyer's tastes, from the type of salmon to the curing method. The first step, cutting a whole fish into fillets.
Whoa! Yeah, so this is a 12-kilo whole salmon that I caught over here in Long Island Sound. No, I'm just kidding. This is an Atlantic salmon. It's farm raised. We use Atlantic salmon because it has the most fat, and fat equals flavor when making smoked salmon.
Right. So what are you cutting out the backbone there?
Yeah, this is the bone.
Carving into a fish this size requires expert hands. After the fish is filleted, it's preserved with salt. The fish is then treated with a wet brine or a dry cure.
Okay, so let's dry cure some salmon.
Good.
First thing, we're gonna get it onto the raft.
Okay.
So, see if you can pick up this salmon, grab it by the tail.
Okay.
Grab with your other hand.
Underneath.
And we're gonna lay it onto the screen.
Okay.
Perfect. Great. Step 2, we're gonna grab a handful of soap.
So it's just a thin layer.
Yep. Right along the top of the dorsal. Like kind of down the center line, I suppose. And we'll give it a nice love tap.
That's it?
That's it. This fish is rather large. So traditionally we would probably wet brine this fish, but for smaller fish, the dry cure lasts about 24 hours.
Okay. That's a huge fish.
Right.
After curing, the fillets are cold smoked for up to 20 hours. This process imparts a subtle, smoky flavor.
Let me show you how the smoker works. So, these are a collection of that wood chip blend that we were talking about earlier.
There are different ways to smoke fish fillets. Hot smoking results in flaky, opaque fillets. Unlike traditional lox, smoked salmon is cold smoked below 85 degrees. This helps the fish retain its silky texture and makes it perfect for slicing.
Ready to help me get this bad boy into the oven?
You bet.
All right. All right.
Hey now.
Let's close her up.
Woo! Shut her down.
After the smoker, the fish is cooled, then packed for shipping.
What would your great-grandfather say if he could see all of it?
I think he'd be amazed at how difficult it was for him to achieve his dream. Now his descendants have been able to build upon that dream and build us into one of the preeminent smokers in the U.S.
Up next, a vegan deli taking on tradition with plant-based lox and cashew cream cheese? Oh, you don't want to miss this. Back on the Lower East Side, two sisters, inspired by their Jewish heritage, are on a mission to make the food they loved growing up in a more sustainable way. Ladies, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Boom.
you.
Want to show me around?
Please, come
Please,
on in.
lead away. Erica and Sarah Kabursky are the co-owners of Orchard Grocer, an entirely vegan market inspired by classic delicatessens.
This is our healthy cashew cream cheese.
They want to make the vegan lifestyle easier for all. Right after college, they opened their first business, a shoe store called Moo Shoes.
We opened our vegan shoe store 20 years ago.
How are they? They're comfortable?
About 5 years ago, we decided that we were going to update it by adding our vegan grocer, basically because it seemed like that's what our customers want. After asking us what our shoes were made of, probably where should I go eat was the second most common question. So we decided to create an experience where they could just go eat next door.
Growing up in Queens, the sisters' Jewish culture and food were closely linked. They had 10 Jewish delis in their neighborhood alone.
Probably every Sunday, it's a tradition in our family, dozen bagels at the bagel store. A dozen always meant 15. I don't know why that was, but, and with the cream cheese and lox, and that was just how we spent our Sundays.
Both sisters became vegan as teenagers, but felt they lost a piece of their roots by giving up certain foods.
I think our parents were supportive of our changes to the vegan lifestyle. We grew up in a very culturally Jewish household, so all of our traditions were just based around food.
Today, a lot of folks are going vegan for a variety of reasons, from reported health benefits to concerns over animal welfare. For the sisters, it's also a matter of global importance.
We're watching climate change happen right now, and I think that's causing a lot of people to think twice about what they're eating and how they are contributing. So it makes sense to us that it is becoming so mainstream.
In 2017, Sarah and Erica saw not just an opportunity to satisfy a growing market, but to pay homage to their Jewish roots.
We wanted to have a good sandwich selection that really epitomizes like New York deli food. So obviously a bagel and lox was going to be there.
Orchard Grocer sells a variety of vegan sandwiches, including Reubens and tuna melts. But the sisters are most passionate about serving up a sense of nostalgia.
People are so worried about giving things up. So I think just creating those alternatives and just something that people are familiar with and gives them that feeling of home.
Yeah, like we haven't had to give up our Sunday tradition of bagels and lox.
To help make their unique deli a reality, the sisters hired vegan chef Nora Vargas. Nora shares a passion for plant-based foods. She also knows how to turn carrots into salty lox. How did you come up? I mean, you have to think, okay, what can mimic a smoked salmon?
Yeah.
So how did you, was it look like you thought, well, the only orange vegetable out there other than a sweet potato is carrot?
We know the texture that we need to go for. We know the flavor that we want to go for. So we started with the color and then we just kind of built it from there.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm really fascinated.
Okay, all right, I'm excited. So we have prepared, what do we have, maybe 10 pounds of carrots here for you.
These are huge. These would have been huge carrots.
Seriously, yeah, like the size of my forearm.
But you have sliced them very thin on a mandolin?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Exactly. All right, so we're all gloved up and we are going to, the next step in this process is to apply our rub to our carrots. So in here we have a mixture of sugar, salt, and the rest I can't tell you about.
Oh, it's a secret kind of thing. So this would be kind of like the brine that you would use, the dry brine that you would use on fish.
Exactly.
Except it's going on vegetables.
Yeah. We got our inspiration for a lot of different components of this recipe from the way that you would actually prepare fish if we were preparing fish and not carrots.
Right.
Coat everything.
Interesting.
Oh no, don't smell it. Don't figure out the secret just by smelling it. Okay, now.
Because if I figure it out, she's gonna have to kill me.
So I'm just gonna start rubbing, just smushing everything in there. Once we get everything coated, we would let this sit for 3 to 6 hours, probably. Okay, great. So I think we nailed it.
Okay.
In here.
Is another secret ingredient?
Definitely.
Jeez,
yeah, but I can tell
a lot
you.
of secrets here at Orchard.
I'll tell you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a combination of olive oil and aquafaba.
Aquafaba?
Yeah. Are you familiar with that ingredient?
I don't know.
You know when you're opening up a can of beans and you got to drain them?
Yes.
The stuff that you drain out, that's aquafaba.
Aquafaba.
It's bean water.
It's bean juice.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pour, and then you can kind of do the same process that we did
same
before.
process.
Just squish it all in there, okay? Yeah, perfect. After we had let our carrots sit for 3 to 6 hours, we tossed them in the oven.
So they bake.
We like to call it cold smoking, just to sound like classy.
Like the process of making smoked salmon.
Exactly, yeah.
That does look very much like smoked salmon. And what would a bagel and lox be without the cream cheese? This vegan spread is made with raw cashews, salt, some secret spices, and coconut oil, all blended together with soft tofu.
Should we make a bagel?
Sure, let's do it. Chive talking. Cheers. This is a really terrific idea.
Thank you.
Thank you for opening my eyes.
Oh, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. That was fantastic. It was a great way to finish things up. I mean, we've seen the history, we've gone to the past, we were in the present, and you have brought us the lox and bagels of the future! A bagel with cream cheese and smoked salmon is a uniquely American combination. Born from Jewish roots, transformed by local ingredients, and carried on by new generations, this breakfast tradition has truly stood the test of time when it comes to food in New York City. I love the city of Baltimore. I've been coming here for years, and if there's one thing I know, the city of Baltimore is serious about his crab.
I love Baltimore crabs.
This is the stomping ground of crabs.
And I've been eating crabs since the time I could sit up at a table.
It's a little spicy, salty, and savory all in one.
If I could describe the taste, you can't. You just have to try it. You just have to try it.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. When you think Maryland, you gotta think blue crab, an essential part of the state's culture and cuisine. And no place knows how to cook it up quite like Baltimore. I mean, just as many ways as you can count, you can find ways to eat crab. Of course, there's your basic, your steamed crab with the beautiful spices, and you just start whacking that bad boy. You can get all that beautiful meat out. You can get canned crab if you'd like. Of course, there's also the fabulous crab mac and cheese with a hot dog. There's the crab dip, there's your crab soup, and of course, the king of crab, the crab cake. Yes, but this is a cake that needs no icing. Crab cakes have been enjoyed by many for centuries throughout the Chesapeake region. But here in Baltimore, they're a way of life. And one of the city's most popular go-tos is tucked away just inside the world-famous Lexington Market.
We're headed back to Houston today, and we wanted to have the best crab cake in town.
We're from Orlando, glad to be here.
People have been coming to Faidley's for years.
Yes.
Ever since I was little, and I'm 25.
People from all around the world come here to Baltimore just to grab a bite of the famous Faidley's crab cake. It's made with fresh Maryland crab and family love. Everybody looks the same. How are you, my dear?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
So good to see you.
Mwah. How are you, sir? You looking good?
You're looking great. Got something for you.
All right. There you go.
There you go. You need one of those. Oh, yeah. There you are.
Now I'm feeling really crabby. Pardon me, I've got to get a lawyer because there's a clause I have to have checked. I've known the folks at Faidley's Seafood for years, but they've been serving up fresh crab cakes even longer.
Hi, I'm Nancy Faidley Devine. I own Faidley Seafood. It's been in my family now for, well, 4 generations, and the 5th is coming up, so we've been around a long time.
I think people are astonished to see my parents at 84 and 89 still working. You can get another 5 cans and do a second batch if you need to with them. People ask her for an autograph, they ask her for a picture, they ask her to hold their babies. You know, it's really fun.
I mean, here's this company that's been part of Baltimore for over 130 years.
Right.
What is it about your place that has people coming back?
Right. I think it's that people come in here and go right away. There's a warmth.
Uh-huh.
It's like walking into somebody's home they're happy to have you.
Uh-huh.
You know, come and you feel, oh my gosh, I feel at home. And I get people, we were here 20 years, it's exactly the same.
In fact, Faidley still stands in its original location, founded here by John W. Faidley Sr. in 1886. Started off as a seafood stall, but over the generations grew into a Baltimore tradition, led by Bill and Nancy Devine, along with their daughter.
Damie Hahn, and I am the 4th generation of Faidley's, so I do everything. Give them a little bit of a smorgasbord of everything. Going over here to fillet a fish, over here to shuck an oyster, over there to steam a crab, back here to fry, up here to make a crab cake, back down on the phone, running in the shipping department. A tray like that is about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bushels of crabs in order to get that tray. That's a lot of picking, and I don't think people realize how much work goes into getting an all jumbo lump.
Growing up, did you think you were going to end up here? You were going to be doing this?
No, but it was hard to get away from, and I couldn't see it going away. I couldn't see it ending with my parents. So
the pandemic hit.
Yes.
You really had to step up.
My father called me and I said, Dad, you guys cannot come in here. You know, we don't know anything about this virus and the effects, especially on the elderly. And I know you want to be here, but you can't. And he said, Damie, do whatever you do, whatever you can to make payroll. It just makes me cry when I think about it. He said, just make sure that we don't have to lay anybody off. I don't want to lay anybody off. I don't want anybody to lose their job. And we did it.
And I saw it back when I came here in the 90s, and I still see it today. This truly is a family.
Oh, it is a family. and it's funny because I often tell people, Mom and Dad don't treat the employees any differently than they treat me. And that's the God's honest truth.
Which could be a good or a bad.
That's the God's honest truth. And that's why you end up having so many multi-generation families staying here.
That's right. Faidley's isn't just a family-owned business. It's run by family as well. Multiple generations of employees, father and daughter, father and son, mom and daughter, all building a home here.
I've been here since a junior in high school, so I've been doing the thing for a while. I'm gonna say it's been around 33, 34 years.
And I started in 79, a week before my son was born.
I started at 14 years old, and I'll be 42 years old in December.
It's always a challenge working with family. A lot of personalities, but you love each other, and it always works. You know, it always works well.
What's really, really bad is when your kids are grandmothers.
Well, we were in the middle of an interview. Oh, you just broke in.
You have to start over?
Yes.
You were saying about the challenges of working with family?
It's just a few of them, you know? Just a few.
While the family spirit makes customers feel at home, it's Faidley's crab cakes that keep them coming back.
What kind of oil do you cook your crab cakes in?
Soybean.
Soybean, thank you.
So excited to have this crab cake. And I watch people for the first time put it in their mouth and they go, oh my God. And they're standing at a table in a market.
Yeah.
They're not sitting down to a white tablecloth and having somebody serve it on a silver platter. It's on a paper plate, but it belongs on a silver platter.
Nancy created her recipe in 1987, saying she's never changed it.
So, besides yourself, how many other people know the Faidley's crab cake recipe?
Sleep with her, she won't tell me.
He doesn't even know how to make a cup of coffee. Why would I tell him?
So some people use breadcrumbs. You use crushed up saltines.
Broken saltines, yes. And not fine, because you have to use more. Now, so, and then this is the magic sauce.
This the secret sauce?
Yes.
So it's just enough to mix the ingredients together,
Right.
nothing more.
That's right.
And the
Mine
big
is-
ball of crab right there.
That's it.
Boom. Oh, look at this. Oh, boy. Oh. It was just like I remember eating it 26 years ago.
You know what? I'm told that all the time when people come in here. The best part about this is you haven't changed a thing.
Now this is a legacy. Well, we know how the crabs end up, but how do they get them? Let's go find out.
Coming up, the generations of black watermen who've made a living pulling in Maryland's most famous catch. The Chesapeake Bay men and women who work these waters are probably just as famous as the legendary catch that they pull out. And in fact, it's back-breaking work that is passed on from generation to generation, including blackjacks. Those were the black watermen who worked these waters all the way back into the 1800s and are a vital part of this community. The Chesapeake Bay is home to a vast variety of seafood, but none as valuable or as well known as the blue crab. The catch here makes up over a third of the nation's supply, and on average, more than 50 million pounds of blue crabs are harvested from the bay.
I'm Captain Tyrone Meredith, charter boat captain, owner, and operator of the Island Queen II.
Captain Meredith knows these waters well. He grew up on them.
I'm the fourth generation waterman, and my great-grandfather, he worked on the water, my grandfather, and my father. We've been here ever since the 1860s, making a living working on the Chesapeake Bay.
This has been the way of life for generations of watermen here in Kent Narrows, a town just 50 miles south of Baltimore. For hundreds of years, they've caught, processed, and sold blue crabs to markets up and down the eastern shore. By the mid to late 1800s, Kent Narrows had also become one of many unlikely havens on the bay for free and enslaved African Americans.
There was more black watermen anywhere on the whole East Coast, probably in the United States.
Those watermen, also known as blackjacks, forged their path to liberation on the water. Their expertise essential to the booming seafood industry. So much so, the government granted some black watermen Seamen's Protection Certificates, providing sailors with American citizenship and a path to economic freedom.
Hey, Lois, I'm coming up on you now. Okay, I got you. Yeah? How'd it biting today?
This morning it did pretty good. Well, being out here is your own boss. You do what you want to do and got nobody to tell you, go get me this or go get me that.
75-year-old Lewis Carter still finds that same sense of freedom on the water today. He's also one of the last generations of black watermen alive. Every morning, before the sun rises, he sets out to catch crabs in the bay.
I started in 1961, I was about 15, and I've been at it ever since. Right now, I'm going down the line, and when I get to the other end, I'll throw it off. Crabs will come up on that bait. The pressure from the water pushes them back in this dipper. Okay, these are the big, large males. You put them in one basket. That's a female with red claws. Put them in one basket.
He's one of the last Mohegans left. There's not too many people that still make a living from the water. Most of them moved away, got other jobs, and it's changing because it's harder to make a living from the bay.
Crabbing season runs from spring into late fall, but changes in climate, cost, and labor have made each successive year more challenging. As younger generations take up new trades, there are less people working the waters and ultimately fewer black watermen.
Back when I started, it was a plenty black watermen, but they died out and the younger ones never taken their place. In one way, it makes me feel bad, you know, and I don't think it'll be no chance no more black watermen. I really do believe that.
Captain Meredith estimates there are fewer than a dozen black watermen on the bay. Like many of his peers, he's had to turn to other work.
Back when I was crabbing teenager, I caught high as 50 bushel a day. Right now, crab is catching 2 or 3 bushel a day. Now I started running charters, fishing charters, because crabbing started declining and the fishing was more lucrative money-wise.
And educational His charters are an opportunity to keep stories of the Blackjacks alive for generations ahead. Although tradition on these waters is changing, one thing remains the same.
Nothing tastes like the Chesapeake Bay Maryland crab. It's got that certain taste to them, and it's the only place like that in the world is the Chesapeake Bay blue crab.
Next, an up-and-coming Baltimore chef inspired by his family's love of cooking.
Back in Baltimore, a new generation is putting a spin on the crab cake.
So I'm Alex Perez. I'm the owner of Poppy Cuisine. I'm an artist at heart, so cooking, the arts of culinary, that's something that I'm very passionate about. Not necessarily having a recipe to go off of and just getting in the kitchen, freestyling and coming up with a masterpiece.
It's that freestyling approach that brings people through these doors, clamoring for a taste.
Jumbo, crab, lobster. Crab is king in Baltimore, so you're going to see crab cakes, crab cake fries, crab cake egg rolls. Everyone's been going crazy over it as well.
This is the bomb.
So I just come back for that, and I enjoy it every time I come here.
We actually live in D.C., so we rode all the way up here an hour just to come here.
Right now I'm drizzling our Warhead and our aioli sauces on it. I have a family from the Dominican Republic. I'm Afro-Latino. I'm black on my mother's side. And pretty much just always had a love for food and cooking food, eating food. So learning how to cook from my dad. So my dad taught me how to cook at the age of 10. I grew up, watching my grandmother cook a lot as well. So I started pretty much combining the foods that I learned to cook from my grandmother with the foods I learned how to cook from my father. And that's kind of like how the whole Poppy Cuisine, was born in her kitchen, essentially.
That was 8 years ago. While working a full-time job, Alex began building a new business on the side, catering food out of his grandma's kitchen.
In February 2020, he was finally able to open a restaurant. Then, the pandemic hit.
Of course, a month later, we get the news that we had to shut down and only do takeout. So that just opened up the floodgates, essentially. And you have people standing in line hundreds of people on the block in that mass, you know, cars double parked up and down the streets. And it was mayhem.
During a global crisis, the city Alex was born and raised in rallied around him. Now, Papi Cuisine is packed with locals and tourists alike. But the chef stays true to his roots, running it with close family and friends.
My little sister, Natasha.
Hi.
How's it going?
Natasha, my big bro, Alex.
I can employ family members, friends, and so forth, you know, that people who I grew up with, people that I'm close to, and it's very rewarding, you know.
Coming up, I'm going to grab my apron and join Alex and Grandma Gloria for a lesson in cooking crab.
Chef Alex. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
I wanted to meet Alex and his Grandma Gloria, the inspiration behind his cooking. So I dropped by their kitchen to say hello.
And what I know, I picked up from my grandmother, my mother-in-law, and just put my own spin on certain dishes. I didn't follow it to the recipe to the letter.
So you're able to ad-lib a little bit.
Yeah, but he's always asked me when I fix a dish, what did you put in this? How did you do this? And I would tell him, I said, you don't have to follow to the letter, you know, put your own spin.
And Alex has done just that, turning the classic crab cake into an egg roll. Genius! The ingredients, simple. A pound of jumbo lump crab, panko breadcrumbs, aged cheddar cheese, egg roll wrappers, and a couple of sauces and microgreens to top it off.
There's the star of the show, the crab meat. Put on an apron. I've got rubber gloves on. All right. Patient's ready. So how do we get started, Alex?
Yeah, so first what you want to do is say we have some Maryland jumbo lump crab here. So for the most part, it shouldn't have much shells in, but typically I like to sift through it. Just gotta see if there's any shells, and if so, you can put the shells right back in this container.
There you go. So Gloria, did you know you were helping raise a culinary genius?
Well, no, I know he liked to eat.
This sauce in particular is our crab sauce mix. So we're going to drizzle a little bit at a time. Because I don't want to put too much, just enough to bind.
You got enough for Al?
Yep, I think I'll have enough.
She's stayed on me. I like this. I like this lady.
This is why I'm so particular about, when I'm doing things in the kitchen. Start actually rolling these things up. Yes.
Why do you think this recipe is so popular at the restaurant, the most popular?
Well, I think because it pretty much gives you the ability to take a Baltimore favorite and make it handheld and on the go. It's throw in your hand
kind of a street
eat.
Food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons it's very popular. Other than the taste as well.
Right. Well,
yeah, because that's
you can take it with you, but if it doesn't taste good,
exactly.
Come back for it.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take like a pinch of crab around like a quarter cup or so. They're gonna sit in the middle.
That too much?
Yeah, you want to take a little bit out, a little pinch out. Actually, you want to put a little bit more in. Yeah.
Which is it?
All right, so that's perfect right there. That's
All right,
perfect, perfect. And we're gonna literally fold them up envelope style.
What is it about cooking and family that is so important?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, living a busy life as a business owner and a dad, a husband, and things like that, I feel like food is an opportunity for family to come together, you know, talk about things, especially if you haven't seen each other in a long time. And it's, you know, it's a way for us to connect. So, here you go.
Is it true you've never done this before?
No, I haven't. It's true.
Oh. Could have fooled me that you never did this before. Look at that. Bam! Done!
Faster than I did.
Wow! Wow! It's a natural grandma thing. Love it. So now we're going to get the deep fryer up here and fry these bad boys up.
Oh, absolutely.
Woo! If you had to describe the heart of your cuisine, what is it, and how does Baltimore kind of is part of that?
Pretty much my story, and I think that connects very well to our Baltimore, you know, because, you know, I grew up here, you know, all my life, and I think everything that I faced during the time that, you know, I started this company up until now, I've been transparent about, and it resonated very well with the people in Baltimore, and they watched my journey through the years, and I feel like that's really the heart of what I do.
Make sure
and something crisp around the edges and then things like that. So that's why I keep turning them, you know, so it doesn't fry on one particular side too much. And just want to even fry.
Ooh.
Nice and golden.
So you want to cut these diagonally. So I'm going to drizzle. This is our aioli sauce, house made, and this is our Warhead sauce right here. So the sauce is kind of sweet, has a tangy bite to it.
Oh, kind of like Gloria.
Yep, that's right.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Yeah, and that's
Try
the
the
piece.
Yes, yes. Crab cake egg roll.
Here we go.
Wow. Chef Alex, you have done Baltimore proud.
Thank you.
Our time here in Baltimore is coming to an end. We tried the traditional crab cake, tasted a modern spin with crab cake egg rolls, and even went straight to the source on the Chesapeake Bay. At the center of it all, one thing still ringing true: food tastes better when you eat it with family.
There are dozens of Chinatowns all across America with interesting architecture, diverse restaurants, and specialty shops. It's no wonder they're popular with locals and tourists alike. They also provide places for new immigrants and for families to create communities. But with gentrification and all sorts of problems from the pandemic, it's no wonder that all these Chinatowns are rapidly changing.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other.
Okay, so it's no surprise. There's incredible food to be found here in Manhattan's Chinatown, folks lining up all the time. But there used to be Chinatowns in cities and towns, big and small, all across this country. In fact, the longest running family-owned Chinese restaurant is in a place you might never think of: Butte, Montana.
At the turn of the century, Butte, Montana was a bustling mining town. The invention of electricity leading to a demand for conductors like copper. Mining boomed, the city flourishing. The demand for labor brought thousands of immigrants to Butte. They came from so many different countries, including Italy, Ireland, and China. It was the classic portrait of the American West, with gambling, saloons, even a red light district. By 1914, Butte's Chinatown was thriving with over 60 Chinese-owned businesses.
Now we're going to prepare broccoli beef. My name is Jerry Tam, and I'm the owner of the Pekin Noodle Parlor.
The Pekin first opened as a tobacco shop and casino run by Jerry's great-uncle, Hum Yao. 2 years later, Hum adding a restaurant, and the Pekin Noodle Parlor was born.
This building has 3 different levels. The top level, obviously, is the Pekin Noodle Parlor. And then the second level on the main street used to be a herbal medicine shop.
That shop was run by Jerry's great-grandfather, Tam Kwang Yi.
And it's crazy to think that, everything came over from China at one time. Like, they didn't make soy sauce in America. The noodles were fried and brought over on ships because they didn't make fresh noodles. So the history of this place really holds true that this is a Chinese restaurant, from Chinese immigrants.
I met up with culinary historian Grace Young to learn more about America's earliest Chinatown. Where was the first Chinatown and how did it get started?
The first Chinatown is San Francisco. The first Chinese came to California for the gold rush, and that was 1848. And they came because America needed cheap labor. And so from gold rush, they ended up doing farming, manufacturing, and then eventually they worked on the Transcontinental Railroad. And the first Chinatown formed because America wanted cheap labor, but they didn't want the Chinese to live with whites. So they were ostracized from white communities.
So talk to me about that first wave of Chinese immigration to the U.S.
The Chinese came from southern China, principally from the area of Canton, and there was tremendous prejudice against the Chinese. They were lynched, and because the Chinese were willing to work for lower wages, they were seen as the reason why Americans were suffering so much. So the blame was unfairly placed on the Chinese.
In 1882, Congress signed the Chinese Exclusion Act into law. It banned Chinese from migrating to the U.S. It marks the only time in American history that an entire race or ethnic group was banned from immigrating.
But the interesting thing about this Exclusion Act was that there was actually exemption for Chinese tourists, students, teachers, and also merchants.
A landmark court case in 1915 classified Chinese restaurant owners as merchants.
And it gave them a way to circumvent the Exclusion Act of 1882.
It was this exemption that allowed Jerry's great-uncle to open Pekin Noodle Parlor in Butte, paving a path for more family members to immigrate to the U.S. and help the business. Jerry's father, Danny Wong, arrived in the U.S. in 1947 as a teenager.
Ever since he was 14 years old, he's been working at the Pekin Noodle Parlor, and he just started with the simple roles of washing dishes, and then he learned how to cook, and then he slowly just started integrating himself into, managing it and working with the waitresses and the staff.
Danny taking over the restaurant in the 1950s, spending years turning it into a pillar of the local community.
Well, I've been coming here for at least 50 years. They give me plenty of food. I never walk away hungry.
I love coming to work because of all the people I work with. Like, they choose really nice people. And
my father probably employed over 10,000 people at this, throughout his whole entire life. So it's interesting to know that there's nearly 5 to 6 generations of people that, have worked here.
The menu at Pekin Noodle Parlor hasn't changed much over the years.
We do a thing called chop suey. And what chop suey is tidbits of leftover vegetables that were kind of mixed together in its own gravy and served on top of chow mein noodles. We've been serving it for over 110 years.
Chop suey is in large part why Chinese food became so popular across the United States.
Chop suey was the first time America experienced a culinary craze, a food craze. And it's starting at the end of the 19th century that there are Americans who are venturing into Chinatown. The way they got them to even experiment with Chinese food was to make a stir fry that was actually quite bland. So they used bamboo shoots, water chestnuts, onions, Oftentimes there was celery.
For many years, Chinatowns were the only places where non-Chinese Americans could sample Asian flavors.
Americans were going into Chinatown, some were curious, they wanted to experience curio shops, Chinese operas.
With increased tourism, Chinatowns in large cities grew. But it was a different story in Montana. Like many mining towns, Butte lost many of its workers as production slowed in the 1950s.
Once the copper ran dry, then the people just started to pick up and just kind of move on and move back to their families and the bigger states.
As miners left Butte for new opportunities, its Chinatown disappeared. In the early 1900s, there were 7 chop suey restaurants listed in the Butte City Directory. Today, only the Pekin Noodle Parlor remains open. Jerry Tam runs the Pekin Noodle Parlor in Butte, Montana.
People may know this is the oldest Chinese restaurant in America, but below it is so much history.
Despite Pekin's historic status, Jerry says he was never pressured by family to join the business.
I never learned to cook until I came back in around 2009, because like any Asian American, my parents wanted all of their kids to go to college, so we all went to colleges around the nation and to get a better education, to become a lawyer, a doctor, and what have you. But I went into fashion, and what was great about that is I got to see the world because of it.
In 2004, Jerry even appearing on Bravo's Project Runway. But a few years later, family duty calling him home.
And unfortunately, my mom had a stroke, so my dad needed help, taking care of her and taking care of the restaurant. I think it was really hard on my father because they were in a generation where they loved each other every day, and they were just best friends.
After Jerry's mom passed, Jerry and his dad began operating Pekin together.
He never stopped working, so he was working here all the way until 85, until he couldn't make up the stairs anymore. My father and I spent every day together. I made sure he was healthy all the way till the end, the best of my ability I can do. My father passed in November, and it was really, heartbreaking. He didn't want to say goodbye to my sisters or me or this restaurant or the community. He loved Butte, Montana.
Jerry now runs Pekin Noodle Parlor with his cousin Nelson. Together, they're working to preserve a family legacy and keep a piece of Chinese American history alive in an unlikely place.
I've been asked the question, what is the future of the Pekin? And the best answer I can give you is, let's just keep it the same. Let's not change anything, because that's what people come here for. They need to have their parking spots, they have their booths, they have their favorite place to sit at the bar. I don't think they want any change, because this is a place that feels like home.
While New York City is home to America's largest Chinatown, the honor of the oldest goes to San Francisco, and that's where the Far East Cafe is located. It is one of the last remaining historic Chinese banquet halls. After a 2-year hiatus, this celebrated venue hosted the 64th annual Miss Chinatown USA pageant, a Lunar New Year tradition. The occasion marking a triumphant milestone for this century-old institution. Bill Lee has owned the Far East Cafe since 1999. His daughter Kathy working by his side as the manager.
He brought me into the restaurant to kind of understand the roots of our culture. He wanted me to remember that, you know, Chinatown is about community, is about traditions, is about culture.
For many in the community, Chinese banquet halls are more than just venues for special events.
I feel that Far East is kind of like a second home for, you know, a lot of our patrons that come in because they feel so comfortable. So much history and so many memories, you know. A lot of patrons that have been here, they told me, they're like, oh, my parents had my red egg ginger party. It's very similar to like a baptism. And that was like 50-something years ago.
And that history is everywhere you look at Far East.
The ceilings, like my dad mentioned, the high ceilings, the moldings are all original. And the lanterns were all imported from China in the 1920s. So they're over 100+ years old.
For the last few decades, there were 5 giant banquet-style restaurants in San Francisco's Chinatown. But with rising rents and gentrification, most have since closed their doors. By early 2020, only 2 banquet halls remained.
The Far East Cafe planned to celebrate its 100-year anniversary with a big celebration. Instead, it's now planning to close its doors.
At the start of the pandemic, the restaurant stayed afloat by cooking meals for senior citizens and low-income residents in Chinatown.
We applied for a PPP loan, and we got over $200,000. We also received money from the feed and fuel program. Then our landlord gave us 6 months of free rent.
Beyond COVID, a different type of virus brought more harm to Chinatowns across the country. Anti-Asian hate crimes soaring by nearly 340% in 2021.
When this started happening, I felt very, very sad and also very angry because I'm like, why is this happening to Chinatown? Why is it happening to our community? You know, for these people to target elderly people, to push them down, to rob them, don't they realize that they have grandparents too, or they have parents that are that age? And if that happened to their parents, how would they feel?
People saw the attacks when they watched the news and heard reports, and they got even more scared. They don't want to go out, even for special events like the Mid-Autumn Festival. We tried to invite them, but they didn't want to come.
We used to be open until 10 o'clock before pandemic. Sometimes we would stay out here until midnight if we had events. Now, we can't do that. We changed the business hours to close at 7:30, because safety is the most important thing.
Business owners across Chinatown still face hostility. George and Cindy Chen opened China Live in 2017.
We've been lucky. We've only had a couple of instances where, you know, people scream anti-Asian slurs. And we're concerned about our employees, you know, coming to work and being harassed. I think that ignorance is very unfortunate.
China Live is a massive marketplace with multiple restaurants. It's in a building that once housed a banquet hall like Far East.
I remember coming to a wedding here when I was in college, and there were, I think literally 5,000 people in like 6 restaurants. But unfortunately, you know, real estate was getting very expensive, so it's not very cost effective if you don't have that business.
But 2 years ago, the couple had to lay off 200 workers. However, with the support of partners, George and Cindy were able to pivot their business on a few fronts.
We did, you know, the ghost kitchen was selling outside our box. So we have 10 locations in the Bay Area, from San Jose to Berkeley, and they can order food from those ghost kitchens.
Ghost kitchens prepare restaurant-quality food exclusively for delivery or takeout.
We sold so many Peking ducks, we didn't know what to do with all the duck fat. So what do? You make popcorn with it. So that's why we have a duck fat popcorn.
As business picked up, China Live was able to rehire 100 workers. Despite an uncertain future, these restaurants remain hopeful that business will rebound.
There's more police presence. People are more, as a community, standing up for ourselves, making sure that we have like the buddy system, making sure that we're together and we feel safe, that we're walking together, that we have each other's back.
I mean, dining out is an essential part of life, right? I mean, what more fun is to look forward to having dinner with friends you haven't seen at a new place or an old favorite place.
But some old favorites just can't be replaced.
During the pandemic, many restaurants have shut down. Far East is now the biggest restaurant in Chinatown. If Far East closes, there won't be space big enough to host large events for the community.
We were overjoyed having that Miss Chinatown USA event here, a press conference, and just being able to reconnect with the community. It warmed my heart. And my dad was just like so overjoyed that people were coming in just to celebrate.
To learn more about the future of Chinese-American restaurants, I went to visit Chef Lucas Sin in New York City. This savvy chef is on a mission to save mom and pop shops from closing and putting a spin on the classics. Hey, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
All right, can't wait to talk and taste.
Come in here.
Lucas was born and raised in Hong Kong. Growing up, he had never heard of dishes like General Tso's chicken.
What was your first experience with Chinese American food?
Yeah.
And did you go, what the heck is this?
I was here for summer camp, and on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock or so, right before bedtime, this van would pull up in the front of the school, and you could pick between sesame chicken, General Tso's chicken, orange chicken with broccoli and fried rice or white rice or whatever it was. The first thought was that this is ridiculously delicious, where has this been my whole life? And the second thought is that what in the world is the difference between orange chicken and General Tso's chicken and sesame chicken? Why is there so much that I don't understand about this if last time I checked it was Chinese?
Lucas actually studied cognitive science at Yale, but he always had a passion for cooking. His summers spent training in award-winning restaurants in Hong Kong and Japan. After graduating in 2015, Lucas opened his first restaurant with Yale classmate Yang Zhao. Junzi Kitchen is a fast casual chain that serves modern Chinese fare. But Lucas remained passionate about the Chinese American cuisine he first tasted as a boy.
So how did Chinese American food, the food that we have become familiar with, how did that develop? How did that happen?
Now, Chinese takeout is interesting, right? Because it's all over the United States.
So these folks come in, they apprentice in a restaurant, they learn those recipes, and
they
then
go
move
somewhere
on
else, right?
to open their own
exactly.
restaurant.
And then their cousins come from Fujian, and then those recipes are passed on. And there's a remarkable similarity to these dishes.
Despite the popularity of Chinese American food, many family-owned restaurants that once dotted Chinatowns and other urban areas have been closing for years.
Opening restaurants is really difficult, and running restaurants is perhaps even more difficult. These moms and dads open these restaurants so that their kids can go to university and become lawyers and doctors and television hosts and whatnot. And now they're finally able to do that. They don't need to run these restaurants anymore, right? Suddenly livelihoods have changed. That's a good thing.
Lucas and Young hatched an idea to help smaller businesses in 2019. Nice Day seeks out restaurants facing closure, then works with the owners to remodel the space and update the menus. The pandemic stalled the team's initial plans, but the second location in Long Island is slated to open this spring.
It's important to me that these new Chinese American takeout restaurants that we're building called Nice Day work with the previous generation of owners, because they have a lot of knowledge that we don't. They know their customers, they know what sells, they know how to cook these dishes, they have recipes.
You raise an interesting point, Lucas, in that you talk to these retired Chinese restaurant owners. Is that part of the sense of trying to memorialize what could be lost?
Now, preserving recipes is part of it. But the other important part is preserving the way business is done. Chinese takeout restaurants are one of the few restaurants in the world that if they're open from, let's say, 11 to 10, the work hours are 11 to 10. They don't have any prep hours. The same cooks that do the wok stir fries are also prepping during the day. It's ridiculously efficient, and it's got to do with the setup and the way that the kitchens are run, but it's also important to us that we give back to this last generation, and that we can make sure that owners who want to retire can retire well, and that legacy can be preserved in a new type of American Chinese takeout restaurant.
While Nice Day pays homage to popular Chinese American recipes, Lucas has been celebrated for his innovative fusion dishes. In 2021, he was named one of Food and Wine's best new chefs.
We serve a mapo mac and cheese here, which is a variation on that dish. It's fusion-y and it's silly, and it's just an attempt to do something ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It betrays every chef sensibility that I have, but unfortunately it's delicious and it's interesting and it gets people talking.
Finally, it's time to eat. Lucas showing me how to make his signature dish. How do we get started?
So the mapo mac and cheese, the mac and the cheese elements are rigorously American. This is elbow macaroni, cooked halfway. And this is Velveeta. But the mapo element is going to be in the form of a mapo sauce, if you will. The last two elements that really sort of take this over the edge is Chinese sausage. It can function like bacon, and some dried shiitake mushrooms that we've rehydrated. So to start off with, we're just going to cut a couple of things. And this tofu we will then put into the deep fryer.
This concludes the chopping portion of our program. Next, garlic and ginger are cooked till fragrant. Then, spicy bean paste and soybean paste are added to start the sauce. Mushroom broth is added, the mixture brought to a boil so the flavors infuse. Can I give that a try?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here you go. So your left hand's on the wok? Yeah.
Yes. I can't get any altitude on this thing. Nothing's coming up.
That's why the pros do it, baby.
At this point, everything's smelling quite good. So the macaroni is going to go in, as well as the soup we just made. Once it's boiling and happy, 2 slices of the best of the best
Velveeta
American cheese. Wait for that Velveeta to melt. You'll see that that sauce is already beautifully tied together. We like to plate this dish in the Chinese takeout box.
Oh, wow.
Because it's silly.
Why not? It's fun. Boom.
Some fried tofu puffs as croutons go over the top. That's a little bit of texture and the homage to the original Mapo tofu. These fresh scallions are actually really important because they cut through the heaviness of the original dish.
Wow. There's a little spice, the creaminess, the crunch of the tofu.
I hope you get a little bit of the Chinese sausage, yeah.
Whoa, you've never had mac and cheese like this. Amid a global pandemic, changing family dynamics, and anti-Asian racism, Chinatowns across America and the communities that sustain them face a challenging road ahead.
Every business that is open right now is still fighting for its life. And I think that the best way to fight the anti-Asian hate is to show our love for the community. Come to Chinatown or your local Asian American Pacific Islander restaurant, store, market, give them your business. We have lost so much during the pandemic, and I think it makes us all so much more conscious that we have to protect what we love.
When most of us think about Detroit, Motown, car manufacturing, even sports comes to mind. But when it comes to food, the folks here in the Motor City are all about one famous Frank, the Coney dog. And no, we're not talking about Coney Island in New York. In Michigan, a Coney is both a diner to locals and a hot dog smothered in chili, topped with onions, and finished off with a of mustard. Now, there are dozens of Coneys in the Detroit metro area. Some bear the Coney Island name, others don't. But you'll always find some type of sausage, a bun, and a signature meat sauce on the menu. So, what makes Michigan crazy for Coneys? Let's find out.
The relationship between Coneys and Detroit, it's a long relationship. It's a long love story.
The Coney is a part of Detroit.
If you can drive and eat a Coney, it's not a Detroit-style Coney, in my opinion.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. Welcome to Detroit. What do you say we travel back in time to the earliest days of the Coney? The folks at American Coney Island have been dishing up this local specialty for more than 100 years. In fact, this restaurant and the one next door, well, they've got a shared history. But American has been run by the same family for 3 generations. Founded by a Greek immigrant, this restaurant story is synonymous with the legendary hot dog of this city. What do you say we go meet the family?
One to go plain, one fry.
At American Coney Island, hot dogs aren't just a meal, they're memories. Grace Quiros is the 3rd generation owner of this legendary spot. Grace!
Al!
Hi, good to see you again.
It's been a long
time.
It has.
We sat down to talk Coney traditions, turning points, and of course, toppings. People are very passionate about their Coney Island hot dog.
Yes, they are.
Why?
Because it holds a nostalgia and a tradition to them. We see daily generations of people coming in here. Remember Grandpa bringing them, my mom brought me. It's part of their growing up, it's part of their life.
30 years ago, Grace took over the restaurant reins from her dad, Chuck Quiros. Chuck inheriting the business from his father, founder Konstantin Quiros, AKA Gust. Your place, this place on this corner, has been here for 105 years. What is it like being really part of the fabric of an iconic city like Detroit?
It's surreal. I mean, I think back to my grandfather and my dad and the things they saw here, from riots to Tigers winning the World Series when they were good. Such a deep history and proud. I love this city.
The Coney craze in Detroit is really a legacy of the Quiros family.
Historian Joe Grimm co-writing the book on Coneys in the Motor City.
The Kiroses came to Detroit from Dara in Greece, where this was a sheep herding town, and they needed to find work. And they really struck gold, as in the color of mustard, when they started making these Coney Island hot dogs.
In the late 1800s, Greece was facing a massive economic crisis, setting off a wave of global migration. By 1920, it's estimated that over 400,000 Greeks immigrated to the United States seeking new opportunities. Like most European immigrants of the era, they passed through New York before moving on to other parts of the country.
They entered, most of them, through Ellis Island, which is near Coney Island. They saw people on Coney Island and in New York eating hot dogs and said, we're going to go into the hot dog business, but we're going to top it with something Greek. Now, the true origins, like who invented the Coney dog, lost to history. It just sort of happened in a lot of places in about the same time, mostly by Greek immigrants.
Gust and his brother, Bill Kiros, opening one of Detroit's first Coney shops in the early 1900s. A family rift caused the brothers to split, leading to side-by-side Coney operations and a long-lasting restaurant rivalry. Detroiters swearing allegiance to American or Lafayette, but only American is still owned by the Kiros family today.
We figure well more than 100 Coney Islands can trace their lineage directly to that flat-top grill.
Each Coney spot in the Detroit area and throughout Michigan has its own history, from National to Kirby's to Nicky D's, from Berkeley Coney Island to El George's to Leo's and more. But all of the city's Coneys have a similar foundation, starting with a steamed bun. You add a beef and pork hot dog.
Then it's covered with a chili sauce. And the chili sauce is where Coney owners can improvise and innovate. And then on top of that, it's going to be a yellow salad mustard and diced onions, and never any ketchup. If you put ketchup on a Coney dog, you might get thrown out of the restaurant.
Definitely a controversial condiment here.
Definitely no ketchup.
But I see ketchup behind.
We sell French fries. When customers come to the carryout and want, I'll have a Coney with everything. Every once in a while you get, okay, I want ketchup on mine too. We don't do it. We refuse to put the ketchup on the hot dog. And we've had people who got a little upset with us. I'm like, dude, I'm not putting ketchup on the hot dog.
Your grandfather immigrates here from
Greece.
Why hot dogs?
It was something that he had seen when he landed at Ellis Island in New York. He saw, the amusement park. You got to remember, he was a young man, came over with no money, borrowed a pair of shoes. He heard the automotive business was hiring in Detroit, made his way to Detroit, thinking they'll hire me even though I don't know how to read or write. They didn't. On this little corner right here where we are now, he started a little push cart. We're Greek, right? We know food. So Grandpa remembered the hot dogs, made a Greek chili sauce. Our chili's a little unique.
You hear about a Coney Island hot dog, you think
Yes.
about Nathan's in New York City.
But here's the difference. I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
A Coney Island in New York is an amusement park that
Right.
sells hot dogs. In Detroit, a Coney Island is it's the hot dog with the chili, mustard, onions on it. That's the difference. And I got a lot of heated arguments, people, about that.
Really?
In Detroit, it is the actual thing you're eating, thanks to my grandpa, because he named it American Coney Island. He was so grateful he was in America and all the opportunities were given to him.
Grace now in charge of carrying on the family legacy.
It's obviously been passed from generation to
Yes.
generation here. But each time you lose a member of the generation, it's got to be tough. You just lost your dad.
Yes.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago.
When you come in, do you feel him here?
I do. Yes, I do. And I feel a sense of pride. I miss him a lot, obviously, but I just feel his presence. I feel everything he taught me. My grandpa did his thing. Then once my dad stepped in and took over, he took it to the next level. Then I took it to a whole nother level, with my brother's help included.
Grace's brother, Chris Soteropoulos, helps run the business today. There's an American outpost at the Detroit Zoo, plus a new location in Las Vegas. They're also shipping Coney kits all across the country.
You get everybody from all walks of life, every demographic, every racial component,
You nailed it,
everybody
100%.
comes here.
Yes.
The American Coney is the great equalizer.
I love the way you put it that way, Al. Exactly. We love our customers. I mean, our customers are like family. This is no joke. This is who made us. So we treat you like family. We don't know any different.
Coming up, I learned how to make the quintessential coney.
One up!
Right there, nice shot.
At American Coney Island, the oldest family-run coney spot in Detroit, they keep things traditional.
But you know, as I look at your menu, and I look at the pictures, they're vintage, let's say. It doesn't look like you have strayed that much from the original menu.
We haven't. I won't. Why add to it when it's working?
You know what else is working? Me. I got behind the grill with Grace to prep the perfect plate of conies.
This is the proprietary hot dog. If you notice the natural casing,
yes,
it's a 90% beef, 10% pork with a lambskin casing.
That's like 3 meats in one.
Exactly.
Pork, beef, and lamb.
That's right. And that's what makes it pop. Like when you bite into it, it snaps like a party in your mouth.
Yes.
Yes.
That detail kept popping up everywhere we went.
It's a warm bun. It's the snap of the hot dog.
When you bite it, you hear that pop.
You can tell it's a natural casing because when you bite it, it snaps back at you.
The steamer bun.
And
that's what we were taught. They're in a steamer. You know, there's just enough steam in here. So you're gonna pull out the bun.
Right.
Look for the cut.
Yep.
So open it up a little. Grab your plate.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna grab one.
Right.
Come over here. Do you want to top it or do you want to?
I want to watch the top.
Okay. Give it a little mix. This is that
little zhuzh.
Greek. Yeah, that's right. It gets a little messy. Some chili. Add a little more. You know, be cheap with the chili. Greek spices.
Yes.
That's the magic.
The secret spice blend? Well, it's secret. But the chili is made with ground beef.
The tangy mustard.
Tangy.
Just a little lime, nothing more. You take some onions, sprinkle them across, and there you go.
Boom. Okay.
105 years.
105 years of magic.
My turn.
Get a plate.
I need one up, which means I need one for a customer.
One for a customer.
Everything on it. Chili, mustard, onions.
Get the split.
Open it up a little more, El. All right, that's not too bad.
Okay. Boom. All right, now I come over here.
Keep the bun open because you want the chili to go in.
Because you want the chili to go in.
Yeah, you want the chili. You want it, yeah.
You want that chili.
Chintz out on that chili.
Don't chintz on the chili.
Turn your dish a little so it's easier for you to pour over it.
All right. That really, it does have a creamy consistency.
See, it's really creamy, right? Exactly.
Mustard.
There you go. Ooh, that's heavy mustard. Did they order heavy mustard?
No, they didn't. I'm making this for myself.
Exactly. There you go.
All right. One up.
Ready. There. Nice shot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Woo!
Good job, Al.
Hey now.
Life-changing experience.
It's magic in your mouth.
Every great coney needs a great bun, but not just any bun will do. A few miles from downtown Detroit is another family-run institution that's keeping the coney tradition alive. What started as a small baking business is now one of the state's biggest suppliers of coney buns. And that bun is the Coney Island Steamer. That's a good bun.
The Coney Island Steamer is a 6-inch hot dog bun.
At Metropolitan Baking Company, they like big buns and they cannot lie.
The Coney Island Steamer bun is our flagship item on the bun and roll line.
Not to mention, they claim to have buns of steel.
These buns sit in a steam table. The product's formulated for that steam table. That bun is going to sit there and it's not going to fall apart on you when you load it with all those condiments.
In Michigan, coney dogs aren't just a tasty meal, they're big business.
The coney business gave rise to supplier industries, just as the auto industry did. So we need to have a major bun maker here. The big maker nowadays is Metropolitan Bakery, and they bake these coney dog buns with the sponge dough method.
For 3 generations, the Cordes family, who also traced their roots back to Greece, has risen to the occasion, selling specialty breads.
Metropolitan Baking Company was founded by my grandfather in 1945.
In the beginning, Metropolitan only sold simple loaves. Today, they produce dozens of items for grocery stores, high-end restaurants, and of course, coney diners. And while their products have changed over the years, a few names have truly stood the test of time.
He was George James Cordes, namesake, and my father is James George Cordes, and I'm George James Cordes. My father, just like me, was bred in the business.
George credits his father for the company's massive expansion in the mid-'80s.
This summer, we're going to be producing millions of Coney Island Steamer hot dog buns.
This abundance, pun intended, is all thanks to automation.
Automation is really what transformed this company. We went from packaging maybe 10, 15 loaves of bread a minute to 140 loaves a minute.
In 2001, after years of recipe testing, the signature steamer bun was added to the product line.
It is a hot dog bun that we've formulated to be used at the Coney Island restaurants, in Metro Detroit specifically. This bun that we produce is in roughly 95% of all Coney Island restaurants.
And it takes a lot of dough to make all those buns.
So what we're doing right now, this is where it all begins. This is the mixing room, and we're about to create a 1,600-pound dough batch of hot dog buns. Major ingredients are going to be flour is 65%, then you've got your yeast, you've got your sugar, you've got your oil, and a bunch of proprietary ingredients. Any minute. That's roughly 1,200 packages of Coney Island Steamer hot dog buns. There you go. You did it.
That makes over 14,000 buns. After mixing, the dough gets cut into bun-sized portions.
You're looking at 3-foot sheets that were just guillotined, and now they're going into a smaller divider to be put into roughly 1.25-ounce dough balls.
Next up, time to proof.
After 60 minutes, the dough has risen. And after about 10 minutes bake time, we're going to have a fully baked hot dog bun that's prepared to cool.
The buns are almost ready.
The product's sliced, after the cooling conveyor, and then it's paddled on top of each other to create a 12-pack, a dozen buns. The baskets are headed down to logistics and ready to be set up for routes.
Then it's off to stores in Michigan's finest coney restaurants, including American Coney Island. While the factory may have a lot of machinery, George has always been hands-on.
So I worked here every summer throughout high school and throughout college, almost every position. And you really learn what hard work is as a kid to work in a bread factory, when it's 110 degrees out.
When Grandpa George started the company, he had fewer than 10 employees. Today, they've got almost 100.
When they say employees, family employees, that's what John is. He's literally family.
John Grabowski has worked with all 3 generations of the Cordes family. At 12 years old, he took a summer job washing buckets at Metropolitan. Today, he's the plant's lead engineer.
It's like family. When you come to this business, everybody that's here, they feel like family to me. Everybody says hello to each other.
It's a good camaraderie. Everybody likes each other.
It's more than just bread and butter for the employees.
It's really nice being run by a family-owned business. You can come to work and feel like you're at home.
It's like a second family to me. We all work together. We get down in the dirt. We exchange all kinds of work habits, and we learn from each other, and we do the best we can.
The longtime employees are proud, keeping Detroit's Coney tradition going strong.
We all grew up eating Conies, right? Comerica Park, baseball games as a kid with mom and dad and grandparents, family time. Coney dogs that's a part of pretty much everybody's childhood. It's a joy to be a part of that heritage.
Today, Metropolitan's running 6 days a week, 20 hours a day.
The amount of product that we're sending out each day, from the first dough that's kicking out around 1:30 in the morning till the final package at 10 at night, I feel constant pride.
As for the future, George's kids seem to have inherited his love for the bakery.
My daughters, Cecile and Sloan, I bring them almost every Saturday. They actually tell me that they enjoy it more than Disney World. This is their favorite place on earth, just like what it was for me as a kid that age.
It's that joy and a family legacy that George hopes will carry on for many years to come.
I absolutely love what we're doing here. I love our history. I never want to be that third generation cliche. I want to continue the growth with my kids or my kids' kids, have them look back at family members and say, wow, that's incredible. Look at what you've done.
Chili, mustard, onion.
What happens if you reverse it?
Oh, you're out.
You're out.
You're out.
You're out. Minutes from downtown is Detroit's Brush Park neighborhood. Folks here are flocking to enjoy the good vibes at this cool Coney spot. CMO may be relatively new to the game, but loyal fans can't get enough of their chili, mustard, and onions. CMO, get it? But unlike most diners in town, here, the Coney, the sauce, and everything else on the menu is powered by plants.
My name is Pete Lacombe. I'm the owner of Chili Mustard Onions in Detroit, Michigan.
You could say opening a vegan Coney spot in the Coney capital takes guts and grit, and that's exactly what this family's made of.
I don't follow any rules. I follow the important ones, but I don't do what everybody else does.
Pete and his wife Shelley, along with their daughter Darla, launching CMO in 2018. It's the first and only all-vegan Coney spot in Detroit.
I would say my wife gave me the biggest kick in the butt to go vegan, and we did.
I had a vision that we were going to open a vegan Coney Island, and I told Pete that, and he told me I was out of my mind.
Pete and Shelley have enjoyed many a traditional Coney as lifelong Detroit residents.
When Shelley and I got married, she used to tell me all the time that I was going to open a restaurant, and it was going to be a vegan restaurant, and I said, yeah, I'm not vegan. So I asked her why she thought I was going to open a vegan restaurant. She said, you could never hurt an animal or sell animals. And I went, You're so right.
Now, the family's been vegan for over 10 years.
It not only saved my life going vegan and saved my life by doing something I love, I got to do something I love every single day with the people I love.
Before entering the restaurant business, Pete worked in the auto industry, just like his dad and his granddad.
When I was in automotive design, I ate horribly. I smoked cigarettes, I drank a lot. It was just kind of the norm in that field. That was really in my blood, but it wasn't in my soul. Cooking was in my soul.
Pete's true passion coming from spending time with family in the kitchen.
So we lived really close to my grandparents, and what was in my soul was food. I cooked with my grandmas all the time. My grandma, my mom's mom, really should have opened a restaurant, and I feel like I'm living that dream through her.
That dream now possible with the next generation.
So Darla's our manager, and she takes care of the customers so well. And seeing the woman that she has become, we're so proud of her.
My wife and I, we've been through so much. We're partners in crime, partners in life, partners in love.
And partners in creating a home away from home for every customer.
I created CMO, the interior, to reflect like my basement or my living room, where you could come over and eat at my house. Everybody's welcome in my home.
Every day, somebody wants to go tell him how fabulous this place is and how blown away they are with his food.
Since it first opened, CMO has been delighting vegans and non-vegans alike with their take on hot dogs smothered in chili.
The amount of love and emotion that is put into the food in every bite, you can tell that. I've never had vegan food, but it was really, really good. It just tasted so similar to it would as a regular Coney Island.
You know, it's hard to come by something that's like so close to like a childhood favorite.
Of course, I had to see if this Coney truly lived up to the hype.
Hey, Al. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to my kitchen.
Well, this is really cool. We've heard all about this. When you're used to something that is meat,
yeah,
you know, getting them to try something that doesn't quite fit what they think it's supposed to be.
For me, I let my food speak. If I put something out there on a plate that is incredible, happens to be vegan, that changes minds and hearts, and you know, it's incredible.
I see your wife and your daughter standing out there. Are they taste testers?
Oh, my wife for sure, yes.
That's love.
It is. Oh, it's love. And we'll be married 30 years this year.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Let's make some vegan magic.
Let's do that.
The hot dog, what kind of protein is this?
It's a pea and soy protein.
And this is your chili.
Yes.
Now, what's the protein in here for
this
chili?
Is a Beyond Crumble, a plain Beyond Crumble.
A lot of Coney places are hush-hush about their chili, but Pete was willing to dish a little.
How do you make your chili?
I use a blend of spices, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and a few other things that are top secret. We're gonna throw that in our water.
Okay.
That's the hero right there.
Right there.
The spice is the hero.
The chili's brought to a boil, then thickened with potato starch. It was time to try my first vegan Coney.
That's a healthy ladle.
It is. I usually do a little more than that.
Wow.
So, yeah. Do a lot of onions. Here they are.
Let's give that a shot. That's really good. Especially the chili.
Thank you.
How long did you have to work on the chili recipe?
You know, I hit it right on the head when we first went vegan, and then I didn't write it down. So then it took me about a year after that to really nail it down.
But even with a winning recipe, times have been tough for CMO.
What was the pandemic like for you guys?
It hit us extremely hard, and we're still struggling and fighting, and you know, there's no quit in us, but it's been tough. Yeah.
How's the future look for you?
I really don't know. We're trying. We're working every day, but I don't know what the future holds. I really don't.
If it's based on the taste of that, your future's bright, my friend.
Thank you so much.
That is good.
Thanks so much.
Wow.
The history behind Detroit's Coney dog is truly an all-American tale, from the Greek immigrants who borrowed the name to a mashup of traditional flavors with a boardwalk staple. And now, there's a whole generation of locals who are ensuring that this regional hot dog is here to stay.
Good Wednesday morning. Astronauts Butch and Sunny finally back on Earth.
A successful return mission and a long-awaited reunion with loved ones overnight. It's March 19th. This is Today. Welcome home.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
Those two astronauts splashing down off the Florida coast to finally bring their nearly 10-month space odyssey to an end. A curious pod of dolphins there to greet them.
Big smile, big waves.
The pair now undergoing health checks after reuniting with their families for the first time in 286 days. Straight ahead, what they're saying about their journey and what's next for them. Rare rebuke. The Supreme Court's conservative Chief Justice pushing back hard against President Trump's calls to impeach a judge who ruled against him. This as the administration's efforts to reduce the size of the federal government are hit with new legal setbacks. We'll have the very latest. New twist.
You have your passport back? Joshua, do you have your passport back?
A chaotic court appearance by the man at the center of that missing college student mystery in the Dominican Republic as her parents break their